If you've been wanting to start Django, this is the video for you. In today's video, I'm going to guide you guys through how to set up your own Django project, how to integrate templates and build out a model. But more importantly, what are all these files in Django doing? That is what we're diving into here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another episode of Code with Josh. For obvious reasons, I'm Josh, and this is Champ. Say hi, buddy. Say hi. I'm stoked to have you guys here. Before I dive into today's video, okay, Champ, you can go down, buddy. Good job. Help me out, help out the channel, hit that like button and subscribe. That really does help out my channel within the wider YouTube algorithm. Today's video is all about how to set up your own Django project and really get it working. This is a part of a larger series that I'm going to be building out this project on to really take you guys through the steps to give you a deeper understanding of how we set things up, why we do it this way, and more importantly, how all these files in Django are even interacting together in the first place. Guys, the first link in the description is my Python masterclass. That is my platform that I've built out over the last couple years. Head on down, check it out, join one of the programs, as I would love to work with you guys. The other links down there are everything from my weekly Python newsletter to help you grow, all the way to my Python ebooks. So head on down, there's free resources below, but check out those links. That really helps me out, supports what I do, sharing with you guys what I know and what I love. Okay, let's jump into why you're all here. How do we set up Django? Why we do it? Let's get into the video. All right, guys, this is going to be a big series. So this first video here, we are going to go through how we set up a Django project. And I want to walk you guys through what all the files are and how we structure this out. Because once we start scaling out these apps, it's important to have an understanding of what's happening, why it's happening, and why we're doing this. Okay, so this first project is designed to put all the pieces together and really showcase how we get things started and the path we're going to take. All right, so subscribe to this, as we're going to have more videos that build on this initial video here. Whether you're watching this today when it launches or in a few weeks' time, this is going to be a part of a larger series. Now, I'm here in a new folder here in VS Code. Okay, first thing we want to do when we kick off a Django project is we want to create a virtual environment to house everything. Okay, so in your terminal, I'm in a folder called First Django. Okay, we're going to come down here and we just want to set up a virtual environment. Call it whatever you want. Okay, mine's going to be called VENV, which stands for virtual environment. Okay, and you'll see that it creates over here what we need it to really. And this is a pretty good starting point. Once it's done setting this up, we want to activate this. Now, I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to go source, type the name of the virtual environment /bin/activate. And this is going to set everything up, and you can see that now I'm inside my virtual environment. If you were to run pip list, because we're in this, you're not going to see anything installed. That's the point of this virtual environment, to separate all the dependencies out and keep them linked to a project. So for the start of this, we just want to install Django. So pip3 install Django. This is really going to put everything together. Give it a second to load. It might take some time. Once everything's done, I'm going to clear that, and we want to start to set up the Django app. So we have Django, we're in a virtual environment. To do this, we're going to type Django-admin start project, followed by the name of the entire Django project. Okay, so really whatever we want to put here, you could put my project, for example. That's a good starting point. And I'm going to end with a dot. Now, what this dot is actually going to do is it's going to create a project in the current directory instead of making a new subdirectory. I'm going to run that. And we're going to see over here, everything's actually created. This is the standard boilerplate coming from Django. We have our manage py file This really allows everything to go together and flow. This is kind of what runs every time we run. We don't actually have to change any of this. I'm going to keep this how it is. If we open the project, this are all the files coming from Django. Now we have init. Init is blank, right? Because this is a new package, we want to have init to be able to target the files accordingly. Now inside the settings, this is going to contain all the project settings. So any database configurations or any installed apps we want to have, right? I'm actually going to scroll down here so we can see. It comes with all of this. Now, we're going to leave most of this. As we build out more advanced projects, okay, things are going to change. You can see here is the database we're going to be using. When we set up this initial project, we could switch this out to another version of SQL, okay? And really what we're going to focus on today is the installed apps. Okay, so anytime you make a new project in a Django project, we want to make sure that they can communicate with the overall, Django. So I will be adding those here. URLs we have here. So right now I just have the admin URL. This comes standard with Django, okay, which allows us to have an admin dashboard when we launch the application. And inside here, this is the main URL configuration. It's like a table of contents for your website. Okay, our last file here, the WSGI, and I have the ASGI. These would help you deploy your project at a later stage. Okay, for now, everything is set up. I'm gonna close this out. Okay, let's open up our terminal again, actually. So we have the Django project, but we want to make a project within Django. Okay, so if we had a big website, and imagine we have a website that has a blog and it has a store. Each of those are individual projects that are linked together in the grander scheme of things. So for this project, over the next few videos, we're going to be building out a blog platform, an application. So I'm going to create a blog here. I'm going to say Python 3. Anytime we're working with Django, now that we have it, I want to tap into our manage py file and we can tell it to do things. So I want to start a new app. All right. What do you want to call the app? For today, let's call it blog. I'm going to run that. This is going to create a whole new project right here. Okay, this is pretty cool. So in this project, it now populates it again with all these templates that we might use in the project. We have init, great. Okay, that's fine. Along with that, we have admin. So admin allows us to register our models, which we're going to create, that are going to interact with the admin interface. We have apps for any type of app configuration that we want to do. Okay, as we're going through configuring out the blog app, we might append things, add things in here and expand. Models is where we define any database models. So if you've worked with specifically SQL Alchemy, I'm a big fan of that, right? A model is really, you can think of it as a data cell, right? One model is collecting information about an item that we're going to add to the database, the row in the database. So here is where we'd create our models. Tests, it's a good idea to start writing tests. I'm not going to touch on this today, but we might expand on that later. Any Django tests you're going to put here. And then any logic for handling web requests, that's what's done in views. Okay, so anytime we're handling anything for web requests, which we will be doing because we're building out a web application, that's going to go in here. Okay, so you can see migrations is also created. I'm going to touch on this in a moment. So blog is done. I'm going to open my project because my project is really Django. That's tying everything together. Inside the settings file, inside installed apps, we now have a new app we just made, blog. Blog is the new app. So I'm going to come down here and we are just going to add blog. Okay, I'm going to save that. Okay, so now blog is registered in the entire Django ecosystem. Okay, if you were to make out a different page, right, for example, store, right, you would add that here as well to link everything together. Okay, for now, we're not going to have a store. We're just going to have blog, okay? And I can now begin building out my models, right? So in our models, If this is going to be a blog, what type of data are we going to get? Probably just like the title of the blog, the content, and maybe the date we published it at, which we can then organize on our web application. So inside here, let's create a class. A class represents our model. This is a blog post, so I'll call this post. I'm going to say models dot, this is a model. Okay, so I'm creating a Django model. It's built in. It's a class that comes with it. And inside here, we're going to create everything that the post is going to have. So it's going to have a title, it's going to have a content, and then we can say like create it at. So what type of data is this? Really, this is I'm going to say models. This is going to be a char field, a character field. Once again, the content, it's not only going to be a character field here. It's going to be where's models. Models, this is going to be a text field because I'm going to be able to enter a bunch of text here in the back end of things. And then created at, we're going to go models date time field. Okay, so inside the title, I know it's going to be a character field. You could leave this blank, but you could also give it keyword arguments, right? So what is the length of this, for example? So I could say, okay, the max length of this is 200. If it's over 200, that's a really long title. We probably shouldn't have that. Text field, there is no length. You can write an article, you can write a post. This isn't Twitter, okay? And then for our date, I'm going to say here, auto now add true. So anytime we add a new post, it's just automatically going to collect the date for you, and it's going to allow us to use that. Now, it's a good idea anytime we make a model to create the string representation for that model. So if you were to go back and print off the object of the model, it's going to return all this data, or really any data you want. So in this case, I'm just going to return the title. Okay. So we are in the blog app, right? Not the Django part. This is the individual app that we're building out on Django. I have made changes to this. Specifically, our model has been changed, which is ultimately going to affect the database. Any changes we make here in our app, we want to migrate them. I want to connect them to our project. Okay, so, yeah, you think about that. Anytime we make any changes that could affect the database, we want to connect them to the overall Django project. So in my terminal, okay, we're going to come up here. This is a very important step here. We are going to say Python manage py. I want to make migrations. Enter. It's going to go through all these checks. Okay, done. Once we make the migrations, it's now time to actually push our migrations. So I'm going to say Python, manage py, we want to migrate, run. It's going to go through and you can see that it's applied all the migrations. Okay, this is really tying everything to our Django project, as well as you can see that there's a database that was created down here. Okay, so we are applying those changes to our database. This is great. Okay, let's clear this. I'm going to make my terminal smaller. Okay, so we've edited the models. I'm going to jump into views. Do you remember what is views for? Well, anytime we're handling web requests, that's what we're doing here. So I am going to be handling a web request here. We have render, so render is going to help us put everything together. We should also import, I want to get from the models, this is coming from our Python file models, I would like to import the class we made, which is post. I want access to it here. I want to be able to handle this and give it information. And we're going to create a root. Now, if you were in Flask, for example, right, you may have seen app root before. This is kind of what's happening here as well. But I don't need to have this decorator. I'm going to make a function called home in this case. And really, I want to get all the posts we've made because I want to take those posts and I want to display them on the web application. So I'm going to say posts is equal to post objects. We want to get all of them. Okay, call that. So now I'm getting all of them. And I can return, we can render. I want to be able to render out an actual HTML page here. Okay, so we are going to be making a request here. And I'm going to render out some kind of request I make. And inside here, we're going to say blog, that is our folder, and then an HTML file, which we don't actually currently have this HTML file, okay? And then inside there, we're just going to say posts, and we want to give back all of our posts. Okay, just like that. So this is going to be responsible for rendering everything out and actually displaying what we want to see here. Okay, this is really good. So inside here now, we need to create a new file, which we don't have, because I need to make a URL that's going to take us to this page. Inside blog, let's create a new file. Now notice I'm creating URLs py. There's also one here in my project. These two, one is for the Django project. One is going to link all the different applications together. But our URLs here, this is specifically for our blog application. Now that we have this file set up, we need to create a path to the blog page. So let's say from Django URLs, we want to import path, okay? From this current directory we're in, I'm going to import views because we need access to this route specifically here. Okay, so coming down here, we're going to create URL patterns. It's automatically a list. We can have different paths within this website. The blog could have a home page. The blog could have a sign up page, right? All these different pages. And inside here, we're just going to say path, empty string for our home page. And we're going to link the views. So views.home. Okay, so I'm linking the views. What is the name of this page? Well, the name of this page is it's the home page. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Now, this is our patterns for our blog application. Inside the Django project, Django already has the admin dashboard. That's great. But we're going to include other information here. So I'm going to say include. And coming down here, we're going to need to add a new path to our new file. So empty string, we want to include, and I'm just going to say here, blog.urls. Right? I want to go into the blog folder and I want to get the URLs file because I want to include everything that we make here. Okay, this is really good. Okay, so this is our initial setup. We're pretty much good. We're ready to go. The one thing we're missing, right, is our HTML files. We don't have any. Let me close up all this junk. It's not junk, but we don't have to see any of this really. To render HTMLs, okay, in my blog folder, we need to create a folder called templates. Okay, it's like Flask, and this is an optional, and you can see I get a new icon here. I need to create templates. Templates houses all the HTML files we want. Inside templates, I'm going to create another folder called blog, okay, because these are the templates for my blog. Once I'm inside blog, I can then make an HTML file. So like home.html. Okay, this is fine. Inside here, we want to create an HTML document. Okay, so just by typing HTML, I can actually choose, it gives me the initial boilerplate. Okay, the title can be called, let's base it off my blog, the Nerd Nook, actually. Okay, so I'll just say the Nerd Nook. And inside here, we can call this nerdy posts. That's kind of funny, all right? And in order to pass in outside information dynamically, Flask, Django, we use this other language called Jinja. Jinja allows us to take this Python information that we might have on the side and insert it and work with it in an HTML file. How we get Jinja is we use curly brackets here and we use percentage symbols. And then inside here, you really write any information you want. So like for every post in all my posts, that's a for loop. Okay, what do I want to do? Well, I could create an H2 and then maybe a paragraph tag. H2, I'm going to put double sets of curly brackets. We're going to take a post and we're going to get the title. I'm going to refer back to this here in a second. For the content, well, I think I just said it, we're going to get the content. So what's happening here? Where is title and where is content coming from? In our models, I made title, I made content. So I want to capture this information here, right? Our views, right? I am creating all the posts and I am giving those posts to the HTML file. This posts we are actually accessing right here for every post in my posts. And then I can now access the individual properties from our models. If you wanted to create, I think I could do here like small. We could even put the dates. So like post created at, okay? Now, anytime with Jinja, this is not Python, right? This is Jinja. If I start some kind of code, I need to come down here and we need to say end for. I want to end the for loop at this point. Okay, so relatively, this is our HTML file. It's built out. It's how I want it to actually look. Now, in order to actually see this interface, we need to go down to our admin file, right? And I need to essentially give the HTML file to the Django interface. So inside here, we are going to create something which we already have actually. I already have admin access. I'm going to say from models. Let's import our model. Oops, not all that stuff. Okay, and I'm just going to say admin.site. We want to register. What do I want to register? My post class, which actually, yeah, I said model. I want to register post. Okay, so this is just me giving Django my model, specifically not even Django, right? My blog, my model that we had access to, and we're going to register it with a part of our larger site. So guys, I'm pretty much ready to run this. Because I haven't really created much HTML, this is all going to run from the Django admin dashboard. The dashboard is really powerful. It's built into Django, and it allows us to control everything on the back end of things, which is really great. I can manage users, register users, in this case, posts. But in order to use the dashboard, we need to create a super user. So we're going to say Python manage py, create super user, run. Okay, you can make a username, okay? It already has my name, right? So if I just leave it blank, I'm gonna use my name Josh as the super user or type something else. I'm gonna leave it blank. It asks for an email address. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what you put here for this purpose. At least not now in this project, but as we would, I'm going to put a real email so I can actually utilize this later. Okay, create a password. I'm doing 12345. It's not very secure, and Django actually tells you that. Okay, I can bypass this by just saying Y, enter, done. Okay, so everything's set up, guys. This is the initial route to set up a Django project. To run things, let's test it out. I'm going to say manage py. We are just going to say run server. That's it. Okay, I've guided you guys through all this. If you got value, hit that like button. Okay, subscribe. This is going to be a larger ongoing series. My window is absolutely huge, so let's boil that down. So this is Nerdy Post. This is rendering the HTML file, but how do I add information to make sure everything is working correctly? Up here in the URL, I'm going to type /admin, enter. This is the dashboard for Django. Okay, so type the username that I made for the super user, which is just my name. The password is just 12345. Login. And this is the backend. Okay, so right now I haven't linked any authentication or authorization. As I build out this project, I think I'm going to share that with you guys. Okay, but you can see blog. So this part up here comes from Django. It's built in. The blog is the app that I made over here, right? So this is a new app within the grander scheme of things. I'm going to click add, and I can give it a title. I can be like subscribe to Code with Josh, because you should, right? This is the first project in a series of Django to help you guys out. I don't know. There we go. When I click save, okay, cool. I can see it was saved successfully. You could add another post like check out the Nerd Nook. And I could say, go to, I'm just going to put the URL for the Nerd Nook where you guys can come subscribe. It's my weekly Python newsletter, save. Okay, so I have 2 posts here. If I want to view these posts, I'm going to go back to our landing page. And there you go. Okay, you can see everything we collected. It is synced correctly. We have the title, the content, and then the timestamp that I actually made these at. Okay, now I'm not making this at 2:17 a.m. Okay, this is UTC time. So yeah, this is not 2:17 a.m. I wouldn't have the energy for that. Guys, this is the initial setup for our Django project. I hope you guys saw how we do things and why we do things. Django is huge, so this needs to be done over multiple videos as we build on this and get more advanced. Today, I wanted to showcase with you guys just how we get everything set up and why we do this. And there you have it, Python crew. I hope you got value in today's video, as Django I haven't touched on the channel, but I really like it because I'm a big fan of Flask. I like web applications, and Django is a whole nother beast of its own. So if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. This is going to be part of a series, so what you saw here today, we are going to actually be building out a larger application, integrating authentication, creating interactivity, and whatnot. So until next week's video, guys, I hope you liked it. Remember, the link below is the link to my Python platform where I get the chance to work with you guys and really take your understanding from zero to knowing in Python. The other links down there are my newsletter, my ebooks. Head on down, pick something up that does help me out, that supports not only the channel, just my work in general. Okay, guys, enough said. I covered it all. Django, I enjoyed this video. Hope you did too. Until next time, Python crew, I will see you then.